Hello there, I'm Vas from Electrum Electrical. Over the last 3 years, I've serviced and installed hundreds of air conditioning units across London and the surrounding areas. So I've seen what works, what doesn't, and what you need to know before choosing a system. In this video, I'm going to explain the main benefits of mini splits, including efficiency, room-by-room control, heating, cooling, and installation. I'm also going to explain the downsides, including maintenance, appearance, installation quality, sizing, and which options can sometimes cost you more in the long run. In the UK, most people still call them air conditioning units, but technically a modern mini split is an air-to-air heat pump. That means it can cool your home in summer, but it can also heat your home in winter. So let's start with the good points. Number one, no ductwork is needed. One of the biggest benefits of a mini split system is that you do not need ductwork. Most homes in the UK do not have ducted air conditioning already installed. So if you wanted a traditional ducted system, it would usually involve major building work, boxing in, ceilings being opened, and a lot of disruption. With a mini split, the indoor unit goes on the wall and the outdoor unit sits outside. Between them, you normally only need a small hole and a pipe route for the refrigerant, pipes, cable, and drain. That makes it a much cleaner option for existing homes, bedrooms, loft rooms, home offices, extensions, conservatories, and garden rooms. I recommend planning the indoor unit position and the pipe route before you choose the final location. Moving the unit to a discrete place can make the whole installation look much neater, reduce visible trunking, and avoid awkward pipe runs outside. For cooling and heating efficiently without ripping your house apart, this is one of the biggest reasons people choose these systems. Number two, very little building work. The second major advantage is that the installation is normally quite neat and non-invasive. In most cases, we only need a small hole through the wall for the pipework and cables. This is especially useful in UK properties where you might have solid brick walls, older buildings, finished rooms, or expensive decoration you do not want damaged. Of course, every property is different, and pipe routes need to be planned properly. But compared with many other heating and cooling options, mini splits are usually a very practical retrofit solution. I recommend choosing a discrete location for the outdoor unit, even if it means the pipe route is slightly longer. In my opinion, it is much nicer to see a neat length of trunking on the wall than to have the outdoor unit in a very visible place, especially because it could be there for the next 10 to 15 years. A good installer should help you balance appearance, performance, access for servicing, and cost. Number three, they are very efficient. A normal electric heater turns 1 unit of electricity into roughly 1 unit of heat. An air-to-air heat pump can move heat instead of just creating it, so it can often deliver 3 or 4 units of heat for every 1 unit of electricity used, depending on the system and conditions. That is why these units can be so attractive for heating individual rooms. For example, instead of turning on the whole central heating system just to warm 1 office, 1 bedroom, or 1 loft room, you can heat the exact room you are using. That is where the savings can come from. Not just from the efficiency of the machine, but from zoning. You are not paying to heat the whole house when you only need 1 space comfortable. I recommend using them in the rooms where you actually spend most of your time in, rather than trying to condition every room straight away. For many homes, 1 or 2 well-positioned units can heat or cool most of your home if you leave doors open, especially in bedrooms, loft rooms, home offices, and open-plan living spaces. Number 4, every room can be controlled separately. Another big advantage is independent room control. With a normal central heating system, you often have 1 thermostat controlling large areas of the house. But with mini splits, Each indoor unit controls its own room or zone. So your bedroom can be 19 degrees, your office can be 21 degrees, and your living room can be off completely if nobody's using it. This is brilliant for families because everyone has different comfort levels. It is also useful for people working from home because you can heat or cool one room during the day without running the whole house. Most modern systems also come with remote controls, timers, apps, and smart scheduling, so you can set the room exactly how you want it. Number 5, they heat and cool. The fifth major benefit is that these systems are not just for summer. A lot of people in the UK still think of air conditioning as something you only use during a heat wave. But modern air-to-air heat pumps are designed to provide both cooling and heating. So in summer, they can cool hot bedrooms, loft rooms, and south-facing rooms. In winter, they can provide quick, direct heat into the room. Unlike radiators, which can take time to warm up, an air-to-air system blows warm air into the space almost immediately. That makes them especially useful in rooms that are hard to heat, rooms that overheat in summer, or areas where extending the wet central heating system would be expensive or messy. Now, those are the main advantages. But before you rush into buying one, there are some downsides that you need to be aware of. The first downside is that installation quality really matters. These systems must be installed properly. This is not the same as plugging in a portable heater or hanging a fan on the wall. Mini splits involve refrigerant pipework, pressure testing, vacuuming, electrical supply, condensate drainage, and correct commissioning. In the UK, refrigerant work must be handled by someone with the correct F-gas certification. I recommend choosing an installer who actually surveys the property, checks the room size, plans the pipe route, checks drainage, considers the outdoor unit location, and explains the options clearly. If someone just gives you a price without asking proper questions, that is usually not a good sign. The second thing to watch out for is that cheap systems can be a false economy. There are cheaper units available, and some of them might be fine for basic cooling, but you need to look carefully at efficiency, heating, performance, noise levels, warranty, parts availability, and whether the installer can properly support that brand. In my opinion, it is best to stick to the main established brands such as Daikin, Mitsubishi Electric, Mitsubishi Heavy Industries, and Fujitsu. If you want a cheaper option, Midea can be considered, but I would treat it more as a budget option. A cheap unit might save you money upfront, but if it is noisy, inefficient, poorly supported, or difficult to repair, it may cost you more in the long run. I recommend looking beyond just the installation price. Ask what brand is being installed, what warranty you get, who will service it, how easy parts are to get, and whether the installer has experience with that system. For most customers, we would rather install a reliable system from a proper manufacturer with good technical support and parts availability. The third downside is that the indoor unit is visible. With a ducted system, you might only see a small grill in the ceiling or wall. With a normal wall-mounted mini-split, you will see the indoor unit on the wall. Now, modern units look much better than older systems, and many are very slim and neat. But it is still something visible in the room. You also need to think about the pipe route outside. The pipes are normally covered in trunking, and when installed neatly, it can look tidy, but it still needs to be planned properly so it does not spoil the look of the property. I recommend looking at the unit position from the places where you actually spend time in the room. For example, where you sit, where the bed is, where the desk is, and what you see when you walk into the room. A unit can be technically in the right place, but still look awkward if the positioning has not been thought through properly. The fourth thing people need to understand is that mini splits are not maintenance free. The filters need cleaning, The indoor coil collects dust over time. The outdoor unit needs good airflow, the drain needs to be clear, and the system needs yearly servicing. If you ignore maintenance, the system can become less efficient, smell, leak water, or struggle to heat and cool properly. I recommend cleaning the filters regularly, especially during heavy use in summer or winter, and having the system serviced once a year. It is much cheaper to keep the system clean and working properly than to wait until it starts leaking, smelling, or losing performance. So yes, they are efficient and convenient, but they still need looking after. The fifth downside is that they are not always the best solution for every room. For example, if you already have a well-designed heating system and only need occasional cooling, you might only need 1 or 2 units in the hottest rooms. If you want to heat an entire house, then the design needs to be done properly. The installer needs to consider room sizes, insulation, pipe routes, outdoor unit location, electrical supply, noise, drainage, and how you actually use the property. A lot of people make the mistake of just guessing the size of the unit. Bigger is not always better. An oversized unit can short cycle, feel uncomfortable, and not control humidity properly. I recommend getting the system sized properly instead of guessing. The right unit should match the room, the insulation, the amount of sun exposure, the direction the room faces, and how you plan to use the space. This is especially important for loft rooms, conservatories, garden rooms, and large open plan areas. So the system needs to be selected based on the room and the real use case. So who are mini splits best for? In my opinion, mini splits and air-to-air heat pumps are best for people who want efficient heating and cooling in specific areas of the home. They are ideal for bedrooms that get too hot in summer, loft conversions, garden offices, conservatories, home offices, open plan living spaces, and rooms where the central heating does not perform well. They are also great if you want fast heat in one room without turning the whole house heating on. But they are not something you should buy blindly. You need the right unit in the right location, installed by someone who knows what they are doing. So, to summarize, mini splits are efficient, they heat and cool, they do not need ductwork, they give you room by room control, and they can be installed with relatively little disruption. But you need to think about installation quality, maintenance, appearance, sizing, and choosing the right brand. My recommendation is simple. Do not just choose the cheapest quote or the first unit you see online. Think about where the indoor unit will go, where the outdoor unit will sit, how the pipework will look, how the room will be used, and who will look after the system in the future. If you are based in London, Hertfordshire, or the surrounding areas, and you are thinking about installing air conditioning or an air-to-air heat pump in your home, get in touch with us at Electrum Electrical. We can assess the rooms, work out the right size system, plan the pipe routes properly, and make sure the installation is done safely, legally, and neatly. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.